Yeah, what I want to talk to you guys about is why does everyone hate Trump so much? Yeah, I do apologize. I don't know what the heck is wrong with my camera. My camera's, I'm just using this tablet now. It's a new thing. It's just whack. But the reason why I honestly believe why everybody hates Trump, or at least why do so many people hate Trump, is that he's come at possibly one of the worst times when it comes to running a country. Okay, for one, because of the string of police shootings that have been happening in the black community. Things are getting bad when you actually see black people start to actually become political, okay? Like you don't usually see it too often. It's usually if it is, you see them talking about oh yeah, um what we need is we need peace and all that stuff, because that's the thing about African Americans, is that African Americans have a history of being scared the shit out of by a lot of white people. Okay, but now this time they're actually saying, I'm not happy, and I think a lot of it is due to, for one, is due to the string of police shootings. Is that a lot of these is that honestly he's just come at the wrong time, because you have to realize, African Americans do not have a very good relationship with the police, because you have to realize something, okay? Back in the days, goes back to the days of the Ku Klux Klan. Most of the people who were in the Ku Klux Klan, because which would make sense because a lot of these people had training and stuff like that. They knew tactics and how to scare people and how to get people and all that sort of stuff. A lot of the people in the past who were the KKK members, were actually police officers, okay? They were police officers who were supposed to protect the community. They were just pretty much off duty police officers. And not to mention, a lot of black people got beaten up really badly in the 1960s, after Martin Luther King died. Not to mention, and a lot of that hatred was just passed down from generation to generation. There's a lot of, and not to mention the court system as a whole back in the days, because most African Americans, as of recently, uh, they all pretty much came from the South at some point, and even if they're in New York, their descendants most likely came from the South of the United States, and because of that, a lot of that stuff, even if they have a New Yorker accent, that belief system is still with them, because they know the police have done some really terrible things to them, and when they see black people being killed by white police officers, it reminds them of the Ku Klux Klan days, you know, and this and honestly, people might say, well, if black people are killing so much black people, why don't they focus on that instead? Well, even so, that is a good point. But at the same time, you also have to realize, it's kind of worse when you're dealing with an outside threat, especially when it's the threat of your own government against you. That I'm sure is to really tick you off, because when it's outside oppression, it's everybody who's affected, okay? Not only do they say really nasty things, everybody's affected. And a lot of African Americans know this, and this is why they're so angry about Donald Trump. The other thing about it is the affiliations he's made. Donald Trump has had to make the silliest affiliations I have ever seen in my life, okay? Because honestly, he's made affiliations saying all of these sorts of things that, oh yeah, everyone likes me, even the clan likes me. What the fuck does the clan have to do with that? Of course they're already more likely to like you, because the thing is, I know people might say that's a part of Donald Trump's style. He's not politically correct. But even still, what the heck does that have to do with anything? Why do you have to mention even the clan likes me? Of course they're gonna like you. John, every single do you think people who live off of white supremacy would not want to see a white person in president, instead of maybe seeing a female who might benefit minorities and all that sort of stuff? Of course they're going to support you. you know uh Besides, everyone really wants Obama to go. A lot of people, especially white Americans, they really want Obama to go and any trace of his legacy to go. So honestly, that's the other thing, and he's made a and there's people like David Duke, who's running for, everybody in the black community, I think, probably has heard of David Duke. At least in the black conscious community has heard of him. He is just a racist person. He just goes around saying all these sorts of things. And I'm just thinking to myself, this guy's a fucking idiot. Like, honestly, David Duke, I don't understand what the hell is wrong with that guy. I really do not understand what is wrong with a lot of these people. Like like but regardless, back on the main point, David Duke, you know, he's a known racist. He's outward racist, He's admitted, and he simply says, what, makes excuses such as these lame excuses such as, well, if black people say the N-word, why can't I say the N-word? There's a difference between nigga and nigger, but in general, he's an idiot. And just in general, all these racist people are starting from Fox News are starting to say more openly things that sound a bit kind of controversial. Why the heck was there and why the heck did he show a photo of the amount of black people who are killed by these sorts of things? And just in general, a lot of his affiliations, have not just affected the black community, but have affected other communities. And honestly, the last thing, is his strange views. His views on America are really old school. Is he has these views about Mexico, and Mexicans are taking the jobs. Now, I don't think there is no denying that Mexicans have had a negative effect on the economy. I don't think it's as bad as they claim, but I believe that they have had a negative effect. This is coming from a conspiracy theorist. Like, I don't even follow the mainstream media, but honestly, that's simply the truth about it. Is that the reason why a lot of these Mexicans are coming in, and has nothing to do with conspiracy theories, this is just a general fact, um, is because of the violence in Mexico. When you have possibly one of the biggest drug lords in recorded history, you know, in Mexico, and the amount of people who are getting killed in Mexico. And of course, the fact that a lot of those people who are getting killed are police officers who turn into narcos, and they have a huge corruption rate. Because honestly, if they have a huge corruption rate, who's the ones bribing these people? Who created this cycle of bribery? And who's the ones going around committing the hits? And where are they getting the money to get the guns to do these hits on these police officers? It's obviously probably from drug money, because honestly, Mexico, like, they don't really seem to have much to offer. And that's why a lot of them, you know, turn to drugs and all of that sort of stuff. So honestly, his views, honestly, if America were to just end the war on drugs, it would just make things simpler. But they haven't talked about that. He hasn't openly talked about that sort of stuff. Why does he focus on ending the war on drugs? Why does he focus on creating a huge wall? Like, it would save a lot more money to just end the thing instead of creating a huge wall, to be honest with you. To be honest, I honestly don't know, man. And to make it even stranger, he said the same, that he wanted to build a wall, against Canada. And I'm thinking, to many people that might seem really random. Maybe he just really doesn't like Canadians. But I think it also has to do with the fact uh, that maybe he's planning something. Because that's one thing that's true about Canada, is that Canada really does not have a high tolerance for racism. And in the past, Canada was even willing, I think, was willing to allow African Americans to leave, uh, you know, when people in the United States, they actually fought against him. When the Americans went up to the Canadian border and were saying, that slave is mine, he's my property, the Canadians were to say, you know, you know, that no, he's up here, this is British territory. They would probably get in some really intense arguments over it. And some American defectors even try to take over Canada because of it. Like, just in general, man, his what I'm trying to say is that a lot of his views kind of seem a bit fishy. It seems like he has personally an agenda, to be honest with you. And I think with all of these factors, this is the reason why people just do not like him, and that's and that's my video, and that's all I have to say. uh Thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed it.